If you've been trying to become someone new from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Your Colorful Path. This podcast brings you real proof of what's possible when you choose meditation, inner work, and self-belief. Because when you live only from the human lens, life can feel like an obstacle course. But when you align with the divine in you, life becomes a colorful path, guided, adventurous, and deeply aligned. I'm Charu, your host. Let's begin. There are moments in life when something inside us shifts, and from that particular moment on, nothing in our life can stay the same. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because we begin to relate to it differently. My guest today is someone who has lived that shift deeply on many levels. Shreans Daga is an entrepreneur, a spiritual teacher, and the chairman of Pyramid Valley International, one of the world's largest meditation spaces. His work explores what happens when inner transformation is no longer separate from real life, from business, leadership, relationships, responsibility, and a beautiful, colorful life. Today's conversation, we're going to hit upon many interesting topics like recovering from grief, using meditation to uncover speaking your own truth in life and work, and what it actually takes to build something really meaningful in this world from the inside out. Shreans, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Charu. Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Amazing. We have so many things to talk about, but I feel like for anybody who is listening and doesn't know you and your journey, I would like to take a few steps back and start right from the start of your meditative path or your spiritual path. Do you want to take us back to maybe a point in your life when you think back now to, this moment was really important? Maybe it didn't feel like it at that time, but now when you look back, you feel like that's where the journey really began.
Yes, so the year was 1993 when my father passed away. It was a sudden death. I was 19. I was in college. And that was the time I really broke down. And without me realizing, next 2.5 years, I was in depression. I was going through a lot of anxiety, where I was going through a lot of insecurities. And then after 2.5 years, I was detected with chest tuberculosis. That was a really wake-up call for me in a way that I need to do something different with my life. If this is the way I'm going to continue for what I've done since last 2.5 years, doing nothing and just going through grief, then one day when I will vacate my body soon, and I have to take care of my family, my extended family, my younger brother who was 11 years younger to me. So all those things made me think that no, I need to do something different. I need to work on my life. And coincidentally, one spiritual teacher, meditation teacher, was coming to Mumbai, where I was based and which I'm still based. And he happened to stay with me, and he saw me taking medicines for this tuberculosis. And then he asked me, what is it about? And I narrated all my journey in the last 2.5 years. And then he told me that your TB is like a fire alarm. By taking medicine, you're shutting the fire alarm. But by the real fire, which is your grief, your anxiety, your insecurities, you're not really dealing with the root cause. So unless you heal that, you're not really helping yourself in the long run. And I said, but I don't know any other way. So he said, that's why I'm here today. And he made me do meditation for the first time. And that experience was so profound. Very first time when he told me, let's do it for 10 minutes. The meditation went on for 40 minutes. And when I opened my eyes, I felt so relaxed and calm. That feeling I'd forgotten in those 2.5 years. That was my point of shift in my life. Then he told me that you can heal yourself in next 40 days without any medication. He was leaving next day. And before leaving, he gave me 2 books, The Power of Subconscious Mind and The Elements of Visualization. I was reading those 2 books. He told me to complete these 2 books in 40 days. And he said, without any medication, you can heal yourself in 40 days. I took up that challenge. He left the next day, but I was meditating every day. I started reading these books. When I read Power of Subconscious Mind, first time I realized how our imagination is so powerful. The concept that we create our own reality, I became aware of that. And it was so empowering. Again, with the elements of visualization, same thing, how whatever we imagine, we can manifest, how imaginal acts become facts. So that was a revelation to me. So I started practicing. I used to meditate, and during the end of the meditation, I used to visualize as if I'm healed. My whole goal was
Mm.
to heal myself physically. And I'm happy, I'm emotionally feeling good. And I used to feel those emotions. I was due for my chest x-ray after a month. I got my x-ray done, showed it to the doctor. Doctor was shocked. He said, for the first time in my life, I've seen such a remarkable recovery with just 1 month of medication. Now, I didn't tell him that I'm not even taking medicines now. I just took it for 2 days. And that moment was the most defining moment for me. At that time, it was like that inspiration came into me that in this lifetime, I want to spread meditation to everybody. If
Mm.
something so simple can really heal myself, and not only physically but also emotionally, then why not share with others? Those 1 month really changed my life.
Wow, that's relatable and, of course, beautiful and powerful, but very relatable because I remember the first time I meditated. And for me, it happened to be I had not been introduced to Dr. Joe Dispenza then, and I was not at all a spiritual person. I just followed this intuitive call to try something, and this was way back in 2020. And it was a very nice meditation. I just did it. I had zero idea of what meditation is. I did it. And so I think that was the benefit. I had no labels, no expectations, nothing. And I went really deep, which I understand now. At that time I was like, what happened? Did I sleep? And in that meditation, I had received a really powerful message, which was remember who you are, which at that time really confused me. I'm like, remember what? Who am I? And right after that, my whole world fell apart. So within the next 4 months of this meditation and this message, my relationship with my ex-husband broke apart. COVID had just come to our planet and it was just an extremely isolating time. And that was the beginning of my journey into meditation. And now I can look back and join that dot of like, wow, the divine has such a customized way of getting to you and giving you a message and pulling you in. And I feel like when you were talking about you went so deep, I can certainly relate to that. But for anyone who is listening, who is questioning whether they can meditate, they may think that you and I are just wired for being good meditators. I know there's nothing like that, but what would you say to someone?
It's like an art. If I want to learn a guitar, I just need to practice it. Same way with meditation, it's just about practice. I feel we are all wired for meditation because as you said, right? Who am I? Right? We are all pure consciousness. That aspect of us is in each one of us. There's nobody who is so special to be excluded from that phenomena.
True.
And we all came into this lifetime to realize the potential of our soul, of our consciousness, to realize our ultimate self. And meditation is a powerful tool to experience our true nature, to experience our consciousness. So I think it's only about practice.
So, looking back to that initial time, of course, you went on to heal the condition, and we all know that, what's possible with meditation. But in terms of daily practice, was there a certain part that was more difficult, and did you have to work on yourself? Can you speak to it a little bit on how you really focused on becoming and visualizing this person that could have that healing or already had it? Because one of the questions I sometimes get from people is, I don't know what to visualize. I don't know how. And it feels like I'm faking it.
In my app, I have a meditation called, in my app called Soul Lab, I have a meditation called Manifestation 5 Steps of Creation. The way I've designed this meditation is first do brain coherence, where by observing the breath, you still your mind, calm your mind. Then do heart coherence. So you transform yourself emotionally. So then you're in a right vibrational momentum or a right emotional momentum to go to the third step, which is creative visualization. Then when you visualize, then it is easy to feel it. And then the fourth step is surrender, where you visualize what you want. How it will happen in your life, you leave it to the higher mind, right? And the fifth step is gratitude. where you are grateful as if it's already happened. And that's how you end the meditation. So, why I say these steps are important, because when you close your eyes and start visualizing whatever you want to change in your life, but on a normal life, we are so obsessed with the current reality. So even if you are able to see it, you cannot feel it, because feeling is conditioned to the actual situation today, to your actual conditions of your life. So even if you want to think abundance, but you're feeling lack because your current life
Yes.
situation resonates, is telling you that, oh, there's lack in your life. Or you want to think of a great relationship, but you're feeling angry or hurt, or and the very reason why you want a relationship, because something is not right now. So first we have to withdraw from the current environment. First we have to become nobody, nothing, nowhere, no place, no time, right, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says. So first we
Yes.
have to become that. And then, so the beauty is when you do that, you drop all resistance, because you lose your identity. When you lose your identity, you become detached from the outside situation, because there's no one to get attached to. There's no identity which identifies with something, right? So when the
Hmm.
attachment is gone, the resistance is gone. All resistance to existence drops away. And when there's no resistance, you come back to your own nature, which is pure love, pure joy, pure wholeness, pure abundance, right? That is the nature of our consciousness, Sat Chit Anand, right? And
Hmm.
when you experience that, then things change inside you. You're emotionally transformed. You come back as a new person when you open your eyes. And with the right emotions, you think equal to your emotions. Then when you have a right vibrational momentum, then when you visualize, not only you'll be able to visualize with more clarity, but also you'll be able to also emotionalize it. Law of attraction is working. So
Yeah.
when things change inside you, things starts changing around you, because the outside
Yeah.
world is nothing but the reflection of our inside, right? First focus on brain coherence, heart coherence, and then go to visualization. I mean, for my personal experience, that has worked great. And in my teaching journey, this has really, I found it to be super effective. And that's how I made this meditation.
Yeah, wonderful. Sounds good. I'm going to make sure that anyone who's listening who wants to figure out what this app is, all the links will be in the show notes. But for anyone who is new on the meditative path and is wondering what coherence is and what brain and heart coherence is, there is a lot of information on this topic available very easily on Dr. Joe Dispenza's website, Unlimited by Dr. Joe Dispenza. But in very simple terms, coherence is order, harmony in your brain and in your field. And it just means that stress and whatever stress does to our system creates disorder and dis-ease, which is why it is really important to get back to harmony and divine order. It's very interesting on YouTube many years ago when I had started the path and I first learned about heart coherence and first really experienced it in a meditation. I found this video on YouTube where they had found the cymatic pattern, which is you can take any sound and see what is the sacred geometric pattern that that sound makes. And there was this video of a heart that was beating. And then it started beating normally. And then it started beating in this beautiful divine order, the frequency of love, I will call it. And you see the pattern change from these simple patterns to these complex geometric sacred geometry. That is coherence. And when you can create the coherence in your heart, you can take it up to your brain. And now the heart and brain are talking to each other. Which brings me to another important point that I feel that in our world today of business and creativity and so many good things, there is still a lot of emphasis on creating from the brain, depending totally and entirely on the intellect. Yet I feel that in what you have created with Pyramid Valley and the meditation spaces and the apps, you are able to channel both the heart and the brain to create something. And I would love to know, how did this even start? How did you end up on this path? Were you always wanting to do something, or was it divinely led somehow and you joined the dots now?
I feel it was divinely led, because sometimes you feel, you also wonder when you look back, oh, how did this happen, you know? So,
Yes.
So I was always fascinated with pyramids. I mean, I had many past lives in Egypt, so maybe that's why. Patriji, who was the spiritual teacher whom I learned meditation with, and he wanted to build it in Bangalore. We were looking for the land there, and we saw the land. This land, like when I saw this land for the first time, as if it was speaking to me, I got so inspired, and the vision became so big. We were looking to build a very small pyramid. We never thought that we'll make, but the land and that vision was so clear that it has to be like a monument, And that's how it started with the idea. That time I didn't have enough money also to, even to put for this pyramid, and my financial situation and the vision was there was no match in a
Did
sense.
not match.
Absolutely. But I said, no, I have to do this. This has to come in this way only. And with that vision, actually my financial situation started improving. The more I started feeling it, the more working with the architects, as if I was living it. Eat, sleep, drink, I was living that vision. And with that, probably my vibration shifted and my business started doing much better. I was into commodities trading. All of a sudden, I'll do something, I'll get some windfall gain. So I knew that this is the universe plan. And the more you make money like this, not from the brain, but you feel, oh, you just got lucky. So then you know that, oh, this is meant for something which you are just the channel to use it for a cause. And the more you feel responsible towards that money. And that's how I channel that money for Pyramid Valley, for the construction and for the development of the valley. And but even my financial situation became far much better, or kept on improving compared to what I was.
And how did this happen? Like, I just want you to double click and really get to the depth of it, because this is a topic that is so close to all of us who want to walk the path, who know their calling. And I know that there are many people who talk to me who say, well, I see the path, I just don't have the resources, right? When you said that when you started to even look for the land, you were looking at a much smaller scale, yet the land presented itself and the vision sort of became more grand. But then you must have had to make a start somewhere in some capital. Like, can you take us in a detailed way? Like, how does somebody make those leaps?
So first thing is, what we feel obsessed with physical manifestation. We think it is our job to physically manifest. But in my experience of last 25 years, 25 to 30 years now in this spiritual journey, I feel it is not our job to physically manifest. Our job is only to emotionally manifest. It is the universe, the quantum field job to match that vibration. To physically bring it into reality is the job of the quantum field. It is the best manager. If we delegate to the world's best manager, it knows how to make it happen in the best possible, in the shortest possible time. So we started the work a little bit. We started the work. For 2 months, there came a phase after 6 months of Pyramid Valley work. Actually, there was no money. My business did good for a while, and then it was a very stagnant phase. I also could not withdraw more money from my business, and also especially when you're in a joint family business. Then I told Patri sir that we don't have money now, work has stopped in the last 2 months, what to do? He said money will come from where it is. I was like,
That's true.
I was like, it's so easy for you to say. As a spiritual teacher, just say, oh, it will come from where it is. But practically, there is no money. And he said, now what do I do? He said, go, you travel a lot. So wherever you are traveling, try and visit all the spiritual centers and keep writing down, take inspiration from them, what you want to do in Pyramid Valley and what they are doing great, which you can implement, copy that to do that in Pyramid Valley. Take the best practices, whatever they are doing, and see what we can implement in Pyramid Valley. I was like finding it weird that, I'm talking about money and he's telling me to do that.
Yeah.
But then he was like a very conventional master. With more coaching, he said, just do what I am telling you to do. I said, fine. So wherever I was going, like when I was in New York, I went to Omega Institute. So wherever I was going, I would find, is there any spiritual center nearby? And I was visit there. I visit a lot of centers in India also. And
When was this?
2004.
Oh, that's a while back. Okay.
Yeah, this was in 2004, and I visited all these centers, and I would start writing notes and take the inspiration. Few I could not go, so I'll Google those centers. So I really prepared a whole thing about this is what I want to do it in Pyramid Valley. So why I'm trying to tell you that is in the hindsight when I realized that when I did that, actually just by doing that, it changed my vibration. So you don't need a physical thing or physical money or physical resource to change your vibration. You can do it just but one Google search can change your vibration, you know.
That's true.
It's so
Either
easy.
way.
So easy, right?
Yeah.
So, or in appreciation of others' success, you can change your vibration. Because when you change your vibration, the universe, which is watching your vibration, starts matching it. All your physical situations start changing it. And I remember how I had some trading idea. I didn't have money to really implement it because of a very big idea. So I met one person on a flight, and then they said, "Oh, let's do it together. I'll put in the money and we'll share the profit or whatever the business outcome, we'll share it." And then I implemented those ideas, and I made again huge windfall of gains, you know. And that money came in, started pouring in, and again I diverted it for Pyramid Valley. And best things in life happens unplanned for, you know, because your vibration is planning it, right? According to your vibration, and if you can sustain that higher vibration, then the universe will keep matching that vibration anyways. So I feel it is not challenging. What our only job is to change our vibration and to sustain that vibration.
What is the obstacle to doing this? Are we focusing too much on, like you said, physical manifestation instead of believing, behaving, becoming that which we feel most connected to? Is that the obstacle? Like, what is keeping so many people from living the life of their dreams?
I think it's more about our conditioning, social conditioning. You know, since our childhood, what we have learned from our mother, father, teacher, preacher, minister, friends, trends, religion, nation, superstition, everybody says that reality is out there, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing, right? And we have forgotten that. So we have forgotten that there's another way to manifest a reality, which is from inside out rather than outside in. And both are true. I'm not trying to deny that it doesn't happen. So, but we've been told that, right? Oh, do this, do this, do that. You have to do that. Hard work, no pain, no gain. Hard work is the way to success. Like money does not grow on trees. You know, so all this has become a belief system. If the outside condition can change the emotion inside, the inverse is also true. If we can learn to change the emotion inside, the outside condition will also change. And that is the quantum way of creating. That is creating from inside out. It's hard work versus smart work.
How do you tell the difference between working hard and really sort of hustling and trying and doing everything versus the other path where you are, I guess, taking inspired action? That's what I like to call it, that you get
Absolutely.
inspired to just do it and you do it. But how do you tell the difference? I have a way of figuring out when I'm doing too much hustle versus when I'm taking inspired action. And for me, the difference is how calm I am. If I'm not calm, I know I'm in the other ship of hustle. If I'm calm, I know it's inspired action, but I'm curious, do you have a way to tell when you're where?
Absolutely what you're saying, right? So what is the difference is the from what state of being are you doing what you're doing? So the state of being behind your doing is important. And that's why we are called human beings. Human is about doing. But being is from what state of being are you doing what you're doing? Right? So
Yeah.
same action. You could probably do the same action. But depending on from what state of being are you doing that action, the outcome will differ largely. The outcome can vary very completely. It could be a very complete outcome depending on your state of being. When you're in a flight and fight mode, when you're in a panic mode, when you're doing it from a survival state, actually you're alone. because the universe, your energy is working against you. Your actions
Yeah.
also, you have to work hard. You have to do more action to compensate for the energy not flowing. But when you are doing it from a state of inspiration and joy, actually efforts are not required. Efforts are inspired. Then you have a huge impulse to take that action. Then there's a motivation, there's a motive for action. But actually, because you're enjoying what you're doing, because you're
Hmm.
inspired to do what you're doing, the first thing is it never seems like a hard work.
Yeah.
When you love what you are doing, then there is no hard work, right? Secondly,
Yeah.
because you're doing from a right state of being, then the whole universe is working together with you to make it happen for you. So you're not alone. You take one step, the universe takes 10 steps. Your vibration is aligned with your action, with your intention, and the universe matches the vibration. Then little effort gives you much bigger outcomes. Small efforts gives bigger results. And that is the smart work, right? That is the
Hmm.
smart work way of manifesting. What you can achieve in 10 years, maybe you'll achieve in 1 year.
So
So
that was going to be my other question, though, about timing. Like, how do you understand time and timing of things in this? Because for me, everything that I've created in my life, this podcast, my fine jewelry business, that is all about meditative reminders, this is all inspired action. And I've taken it from that place. And like you, everything that is earned in the job goes straight in it. And all of that is good. And I feel happy and really grateful to actually have this opportunity. But when I am in survival, I sometimes notice that I really start to question divine timing. And I know that divine timing does not honor human anxiety. I understand that.
absolutely.
Yet, from somebody who has created some big, beautiful things that you're proud of, that you're happy about, what can you tell us about trusting in the timing versus keeping on, like going on? Sometimes it's really hard to keep pushing on, even though you know it's a sacred calling, versus just completely surrendering and then being passive. Because I've seen people do that too, where they become completely passive and sort of give up and say, I'm not going to take any action. I've surrendered, which is not my understanding of surrender. But I want you to speak to this aspect.
The important thing is fulfillment. See, when you are in a survival mode, that does not mean you'll not create. You will still create. We're all born creators. But many times, by the time you achieve your deadline, you're already dead. Basically, you get burnout, you know.
It's called deadline.
That's why it's called deadline. So you already feel the burnout. By the time you achieve your wealth, you have lost your health or a relationship. So there's no fulfillment. Plus, by the time you achieve your deadline or achieve your goals, you have become addicted to stress. If you're always in survival mode, you become addicted to stress. So even when you thought that, oh, once I get that, then I'll be happy. But because your body has become addicted to stress, so even when you achieve that so-called goal or success, whatever it is, somehow that dopamine rush will wear off very soon, maybe in hours or days. Then the body, which is addicted to, say, cortisol, again needs cortisol. Then you will find some other reason to be stressful about. Then you'll make another lofty goal. Oh, when that happens, then I'll be happy. Then you keep postponing your happiness. But the other way, when you create from the quantum way of creating, when you create from inside out, you first focus on your changing your state of being, where you are already happy, you are already joyful. You're not dependent that, oh, when that happens, then I'll be happy. First, you are happy because you're connected to your inner being, you're connected to the source, and that source becomes your ultimate resource, your ever ready resource. And then you don't need to outsource this to, oh, when that happens, then I'll be happy. You're already happy. And when you're already happy, then the inspiration comes in, the intuition comes in when you're in tune with yourself. Many times when I get up from meditation, I have a huge impulse to do something. And if I
Yeah.
don't act on that impulse, I feel restless. That impulse is so strong, and then you just follow that impulse. And then you realize that, oh, I need to meet that person, I have to call that person. And basically, then it leads you to be at the right place at the right time. And you feel, oh, I was just lucky, or the universe calls you lucky. So you did work for it, not that you didn't work for it. But first thing, that work never seemed like a work. Secondly, the work was inspired. It was never about force. It was never
Yeah.
about chasing something. It was more about attracting something. See, in the quantum field, there's no assertion. There's only attraction. There's no force and resource, right? So you were always in a flow, and you manifested it in a being in a state of flow, always maintaining that state of flow. And because you're already happy anyways, then you also lose attachment to the outcome, right? Then how I'm anyways happy, then how do I even care whether it happens or not? Because I'm already happy. Then you're no more looking for it. As long as you're looking for it, you're separate from it. That's what I say. Let go means letting God. So you create and you let go. And then you trust the universe. It is in the highest good, it will happen. Because manifestation has a gestation time. Many times we become
Yeah.
impatient. You
Yes.
meditated, you raise your vibration, and then you're looking for it. Oh, it's not happening, not happening. And then again you lose, and then again you lose your vibration. Then it never happens because you're not able to sustain that vibration. But when you trust the universe, when you surrender, you trust the universe, and you focus on maintaining that modified state, maintaining that flow state, then eventually the universe will match it. It's a law. I mean, law of attraction, that's why it's called law of attraction. It's a law. There's no way it will not happen. So it's just that we need little patience. And that patience is for our benefit. Because anytime we lose the vibration, which we do, right? When you meditate, you may feel very good. But when you wake up, when you are with the same environment, who push the same emotional buttons, same mother-in-law, same traffic jam, or same work environment, you again tend to lose your vibration. But because there's a gestation time in manifestation, you get time to again become aware and again course correct yourself and again raise your vibration, again work on your thoughts, work on your emotions. So it is to advantage to that there's a gestation time. Thank God there's a gestation time. I get the chance to again improve myself, work on my vibration. Initially, it may look challenging, but as you keep working on it, as you keep practicing it, then eventually that flow state becomes your state of being, the natural state of being. That becomes your, and your state of being is your personality.
That reminds me of a story of Paramahansa Yogananda that I read about because I was reading Autobiography of a Yogi. Like anybody who walks the path, it's one of the first books to read. It was really moving that he was in the United States and he was going in a car somewhere. And I think his teacher had asked him to do something, build something in US, and he was on that path and he was looking outside the window. And he said, this idea came in my head and it was like a huge vision. And he wrote in his own words, and I'm paraphrasing now, and he was like, uh-oh. And his reaction was, well, now this is going to be reality, because he had worked on himself so much at that point that just the thought entering his system was enough of a signal for it to clearly manifest. And he said, I have to be really careful what I pick. And I think that's what you're talking about, that with consistent practice, it just becomes where you're not the doer anymore. You're the one who's being, and then everything responds to that state of being. Beautiful share there. So let's get back to you're back near Bangalore. You are working on the family business. You are creating the initial form of Pyramid Valley with your teacher. Nothing is very clear on what it's going to be or the scale of it. This is many years ago. What were some of the lessons that you felt like you have really mastered on that journey from that initial path where you can see some stones, you can't see the full path, you definitely don't see the future, but you have this belief that I'm going somewhere? Was there anything that you feel could be really helpful for somebody who is also in that same place, building something, and it's at the beginning, and it would be really helpful for them to hear?
It's not that I've always seen success. There's been many failures too, right?
Good
And
to share.
yeah, so but what is more important is to you learn the lessons. In truth, there are no failures, there are only lessons. If you don't learn from that mistake, then that's another mistake.
Yes, that's the real mistake, maybe.
That's the real mistake. है ना? So many times when you go through challenges, when you go through adversities or contrasting situations, I've realized that in those situations, all your desires, all you summon all the life force, and you're able to think something different, something new ideas come up. And then with those new ideas, some out of box thinking, and you follow up on that idea, all of a sudden you realize that, oh, thank God for that problem, thank God for the adversity, that I chose a new path or a new idea, I acted on it, and now my life is different. What you think as a problem are actually opportunities in disguise, right? So it can become a blessing. So I never see any problem as a problem. I just see what is it trying to tell me, what is the hidden opportunity in it. Like even for my children, I mean, they are teenage boys. I mean, one is 22 now, one is 17. I never wish for them that, oh, they should not face any problem. More challenges, the more the opportunity for the expansion of your consciousness, the more wiser you become, provided you learn from those challenges. So you learn from your mistakes. Problem is not an opposite of success. It is a part of success. So I take it that way.
Yeah.
And that has been my learning in my journey of what I call it now so-called success, but I say, oh, even the problem was a part of that success. What is the important ingredient of the success?
Is there a certain inner belief that you found in yourself that was an obstacle for you that you're able to share? Like, I really had to work on this particular thing that I used to believe, I don't know, from conditioning, from culture, from past life, whatever it may be, that once you shifted that, you really felt like things opened up. Does something come to mind?
When I am faced with problems or challenges, I would go into an overdrive, work overdrive. Oh, I need to do
Like
this, do
work harder.
work harder. I need to do this, do this, do this. And then many times, in spite of doing that, I found I was not getting results. So the practice that I follow, and that was the social conditioning. Everybody tell you that, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. But the practice now I follow is the moment I face with challenges or problems, I first check myself, my emotional inventory. Am I still in a state of flow? Am I still in a state of inner joy, inspiration, calmness? As you said about where you check whether I'm calm or not. So first is check what is your state of being. And if I feel ki, oh, because of this problem, I have lost my alignment with my inner being. So my first job is to withdraw from the situation and work on my alignment. So I don't take any action until I find my alignment. And meditation is a great tool, but sometimes when we are faced with a lot of problems, even meditation becomes problem. It becomes challenging because your mind is racing, and you're so obsessed with that trouble that it is full time running your mind, occupying your mental space. Then I find breathwork is very powerful. Breathwork, you're using our activity. You're constantly breathing, and then suddenly you slip into a meditative state that changes your vibration. And it could be any other tool. Sometimes you just want to watch some light comedy movie. Sometimes you just want to listen to music, your college time music, your old friends, or anything to shift your vibration, I would say. Meditation, breathwork are powerful tools, but it is not the only tool. Anything that shifts your vibration in that state, first change your state of being and then do whatever you're doing. That is the right way of manifesting. And also, when you do that, a lot of times, even the problem disappears because some new insight comes. Now you don't even see it as a problem. Your perspective changes, because we don't see things as we are, as they are. We see things as we are. When we change from inside, now the problem is no more looking like a problem. So what you thought, I have a problem to solve, now all of a sudden there's nothing that needs a solution. So all it needed was to change was your alignment. And the moment you're in alignment, and then also you get a lot of clarity. And then according to that clarity, you make choices. Then according to the choices, you take actions. Most of the time, what I have found in my experience, that when I'm acting out of the state of panic and from the survival mode, I tend to make wrong choices. And obviously, wrong choices lead to wrong results. In my experience, what I do is when I am faced with any kind of challenge, whether it's health, wealth, relationship, first I focus on on my alignment. My challenge is not the outside challenge. My challenge is because of that outside situation, I lost my alignment. So the challenge is
Inside.
alignment. So
Yeah.
once you resolve that and once you regain your alignment, and when you're happy from inside, then actually there's no challenge outside.
True.
Because
Absolutely.
everything has an emotional payoff. Because of the challenge, you were emotionally you lost your alignment. Right? So when the emotions are in place, then the whole outside situation becomes very light-hearted. It's not about the heaviness is gone, the seriousness of the problem is gone. Then you deal with it with a light-heartedness approach, you know.
It's so inspiring to talk to you because like you can reflect a lot of things to yourself and friends, and when you read you can, but when you're talking to somebody who's walked the path, I think the quality of the reflection becomes better. And I was having that while you were talking, and I was taking notes, and I made two lists, right? So on one side I've written hurry, worry, fear, anxiety, heaviness, and seriousness. That's one side. And then the other side, I wrote only four things: clarity, calm, love, and fun. And I
Super.
feel like those two lists are such good checks on whatever happens in our life, whether it's business, it's a relationship, work, traffic, which one we're at, right? So I'll repeat it for the audience. So when your heart is coherent, your brain is coherent, you're in flow, you are aligned with the divine. Look for, not don't look for it, you will find it in yourself, is clarity, calm, love, and fun. And when you are in survival and not creation mode, you will find yourself in hurry, worry, fear, anxiety, heaviness, and seriousness. And I had this reflection that this is such a good test. Like you said, I don't take action when I'm in the survival list. You only take action when you're in the creation list.
You cannot be fully creative when you're in a survival mode. It's as if a tiger is attacking and all your energy goes to your hands and legs to save yourself, right? And if
Yeah.
that somebody asks you, what do you want to have for dinner? You can't even think about it, right? So you
Right.
cannot be in a survival mode and a creative mode at the same time. Because all your energy is going to keep you to survive. So but
Absolutely.
when you're relaxed, all your creativity comes alive. All your energy is now available for your creative endeavors. So that's why whatever you'll do better. Not only you'll have clarity, but there's a lot of energy. It is backed by so much of energy. It is empowered by so
Yeah.
much energy.
Yeah. We need to add that to that list. It's clarity, calm, love, fun, and an abundance of energy. How does that sound?
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful. What is your take on worthiness, in that I know you fully appreciate the idea and know a lot about it, but on a more personal note, how has worthiness changed in you finding meditation, dealing with a serious health issue that you were able to heal, creating Pyramid Valley, and now offering a space where other people can do transformational work on themselves? How has worthiness changed or evolved during that time?
When you connect to your source and when you experience that consciousness, when you get the taste of your consciousness, you feel that wholeness, you feel that love, and you realize that this is my true nature, this is what really I am. Where, like in Advaita Vedanta, they say Aham Brahmasmi, you are that, right?
I am
So
totality.
right, so when you realize that you are everything, you are God in action. So all the unworthiness is the conditioning. It is the ego telling you that you are not enough. When you drop your ego and you experience that consciousness, you realize that you are enough. And one who knows enough is enough will always have enough.
You
So
are it.
you are it. So that worthiness is a conditioning.
Yeah.
Lack of worthiness is a conditioning. It's a social conditioning. We see ourselves from how the world look at us, right? Or do I have these degrees? Do I have this social status? Do I have a great big house? Which car am I traveling with? So all this is a social conditioning. But when you experience your consciousness, and the beauty is we all have that same aspect of consciousness, same spark of consciousness within each one of us, then you realize that you are enough. There's nothing that you needed to add on to feel worthy. And so once you experience it, all that unworthiness goes away. It naturally drops away because now you experience that. And then the whole perception changes. Your whole way of looking at things change, you know. I'm not saying ki, oh, one experience will change everything. But again, you go back to the world, again, the social conditioning again takes over. Again, you realize it. But with more practice, the social conditioning starts wearing off and you becoming more of yourself. So slowly the shift starts. The awareness of you are that consciousness, and whatever you're doing is a role you are playing. It's a temporary role you are playing. The awareness that you're only the visitor on this planet for in this lifetime to do a certain role. So that awareness comes, and with the awareness comes lightheartedness, fun, enjoy. You realize that we all have to do our part and depart. So understanding of life or the whole approach to life changes, you know.
Is this what helped you? Or I don't know if you needed help in that department, but often when you are creating things on a scale and you are doing things, like you said, that are so much more grand than what you would have thought, but that's where life is leading you. If you give in to the survival mode, you can sometimes shrink and feel small and not want to be center stage and not want to share what you know. Was that ever an issue that you dealt with? And if you did and do, is there a way to bring light to that? There are so many people that don't want to be the face of their business, don't want to be behind the voice behind their work. And I find that deeply unsettling because there is a deep-seated subconscious belief that I'm not enough, most probably there. And I know that when you started your journey, you mentioned a book that was all about subconscious programming. And I wonder if you have something to say about not being able to be the face or the voice behind their work and creative endeavors in this world.
I would say there's a neutral approach. We are all different beings, yeah? We are all different. It's about where is it coming from. One is, oh, I want to be the face of everything, and the ego likes it to be there, out there. Ego loves popularity. So is it coming from that space? Or is it coming from I'm enough myself. I don't need attention. I don't need popularity. And even though if I'm doing something, I would give my credit to my team. And so if it is coming from that space, then what you're doing is fine. But if it is coming from the space of, oh, I am not good enough, I don't deserve to be known, I don't deserve a goodness, or if it is coming from that space, then again it is another part of ego. Either you are feeling superior or inferior. So it's not about what you are wanting, it's from what state of being are you wanting what you're wanting.
Come to balance, come to the neutral, right? Don't be too much in the inferior, don't be too much in the superior, but be in the middle and find alignment with that which is the divine in you, which would never think either of those thoughts about itself.
Yeah.
Let's come to it.
Absolutely, because when you experience your divinity, then you also see divine in everyone, because you know the same thing you experience is also in each one of us. It's just that they are not aware of it. They are sleeping. But when you are awakened, you have no interest in judging those who are sleeping, you know?
Yeah. But is it ever hard, Shreans? Like, is it ever difficult? Sometimes it is really difficult to see the divine in a certain person. It just is. It doesn't even have to be your closed circle. It can be the world. And you have to really, I find it still difficult to believe that, wow, even this person is divine. But I want to know, has it ever been a challenge where you have to really work on yourself?
Always. My biggest challenge or my exercise is always to work on my judgments. Many times, even if you're spiritual, you start seeing others as, I'm a meditator, if you feel I'm calm, somebody is short tempered or lost in a state of rage. you tend to judge, oh, how stupid. In your mind, you are saying, how foolish, how stupid. But that means in their state of unconsciousness, I also went unconscious. While they are sleeping and observing their sleep, I also went asleep. And that's why I'm judging. So the practice is to be more aware at that time. And it is a practice. I mean, I would not say, even today, I don't think, oh, I am now perfect. Every time I think, oh, I am better. But only thing is now, the moment I'm judging somebody, the moment I go asleep, I become aware. Oh, I went asleep. And then I know, oh, next time I'll do better. Next time I'll be aware. And then I don't
Yeah.
take it seriously. I mean, I laugh at it, because this is again a journey. We're all work in progress. So
Yeah.
this is how I look at it. But yes, this is a constant thing, how to see divinity in everyone all the time. It's not easy, but at the same time, it is possible. The more I see the others' behavior towards me changing, as the quantum physics says, right, the observer affects what is being observed.
Yes.
So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Change.
So
Yeah.
a man is according to the manner you look at him. So
Yes.
and it's so beautiful. It's such a great exercise. Somebody tells me, oh, this person is like that. Somebody tells all the negative of that person. But you program your mind that, oh, the person is so positive, so fun loving. And you visualize a conversation even before it has happened. That was such an amazing conversation. And when you, with that mindset, when you talk to that person, all of a sudden the person behavior is so different than what you were told about, or different than your own previous conversation. We can control the behavior of others by changing the way we look at them, because depending on our judgments, we evoke the response from them, because our judgments has an emotional charge, and that emotional charge is evoking the response corresponding to that charge. So when you lose that charge, when the charge is no more there, then the response could be very beautiful.
Wonderfully said. What is your take on today in 2026, almost 22 years after you started the path of walking the foundations of Pyramid Valley, 2004, you said?
2003 we acquired the land, and 2004 we started the construction.
So it's 2026. Tell us and our audiences about what you have created, because I know it's a large ecosystem. My family has been to your retreats and loved it. And not just my parents, my sister, my nephews, who are young teenagers. I was really impressed that they had a great time and learned a lot. So it's a whole ecosystem that you've built. But could you please speak to us in detail about all that you do there?
So first thing, I'll just correct that it's not that I have created. I'm privileged to be the instrument to give my contribution to whatever, or do my part. But I feel it was the vision of Patriji. Also, the group energy, there's so many people who have the intention, so many people who came there and meditated, and that energy of that place is creating for itself. Like, I live in Bombay, this place is in Bangalore. When I'm in Bombay, I'm back into my material world many times. But the moment I go there, the place gives that inspiration, and that inspiration makes me do that inspired action. So
Yeah.
sometimes, so I feel I know that in my inner being, I know that it is the place creating itself and not me. The facilities we have a huge pyramid where 2,000 people can meditate at the same time. And
Amazing.
we have accommodation for 450 people. And our intention is to reach 1,000 in next 3 to 4 years for accommodation. And we have all categories of accommodation, like pods to luxurious accommodation. Then we have many power spots where one can meditate. What is unique about this place is it is not restricted to one guru, one teacher, one person. And so anybody who wants to do their workshops can
Yeah.
come and host their workshops. We keep inviting all the spiritual masters from all around the world. We organize their workshops. So it's a very open place. It is not about one Swami, like how generally most Indian ashrams are, like one Swamiji, one Guru. It is not,
Yeah.
it's not at all cult based. It is a very scientific approach, not tagged with any religion, very scientific and very, very open in its whole approach. So that, I feel, that makes it unique. And it's a constant, there's always some work going on, and we always keep doing something. In now we have started a work for the wellness center. We are developing a very holistic wellness center which will be ready in 2 years, which will cover body, mind, and soul. So that is the most upcoming project now.
Like, will they have treatments and all of that?
And everything that we hear about, biohacking and longevity, but not just superficial, but also the root cause, breath work also, it could be past life regression or many powerful tools, deep rooted therapies also, so that you change from the root, not
Yeah.
just you come there for 10 days and then you go back. And the idea is, how do you go back transformed, not just physical change, because that won't last too long. You go back to your old habits, and then you come back and again you will need it after 6 months or a year. So the idea is, how do you come and go so changed that you don't really need to come back again, that is our goal.
Yeah, amazing. And you have many retreats that you do throughout the year that we will, of course, put all the links in the show notes. They are quite transformative, and I like that they have different modalities, because when I got into the work, I had one teacher and then I found another one, and I do two of those things because they're a little bit different than each other in terms of what I need on a certain day. I will do Dr. Joe's guided meditations, but then on the other times I would do my Vedic meditation, which is rooted in our Vedas. And it's a very different meditation, short, sweet, simple, equally profound. But then there's a whole ecosystem of so many other teachings from around the world. And I think my reflection is that you can work on yourself, enjoy it, but work on yourself so much that you don't have to meditate. Your life becomes a walking, breathing, living meditation. That would be my goal for myself.
Lovely, lovely. So yeah, so we do a lot of retreats. It's almost all around the year. Personally, I do around between 4 to 6 workshops, usually from 5 days to 10 days. My teaching journey has been only last 7 years. What I'm teaching is more from a very scientific approach to spirituality. Whatever I've learned from many Western masters or Indian masters or from Indian philosophies. So I've combined it all in a structured way, and whatever resonated more with me, and I pick up the best of everybody. It's a distillation or a condensation of all the wisdom I've learned from others, and that is what I teach. From Dr. Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden or Bruce Lipton or Abraham Hicks or Eckhart Tolle, or from Indian philosophies like Advaita Vedanta or Sankhya philosophy, from Buddhism. I mean, but the essence, not religious part, but direct Buddha's teachings, or what Mahavir teachings, what Guru Nanak teachings, what Jesus teachings. So that is all what I incorporate in all my workshops. And then all other aspects like food gut brain connection, neuroscience, transgenerational healing, life between life regression, past life regression. So all different aspects of spirituality, which I have imbibed and seen a transformation in my life. Whatever I have applied and I feel worked for me, that is what I teach basically.
Yeah, we are very similar that way. Everybody who has been a guest on my podcast or is anyway involved in my jewelry business or even owns my pieces, I always tell them this is literally all my own learnings of what has been really, really deeply transformative. And some of it is really simple. It is a lived experience of what really works. And I think that is what our age is all about. I think the age of somebody teaching and then learning 20 years later and then thinking like that must have worked has passed us. And now it's all about what is your lived experience, what works, what doesn't work, and to not get caught up in the ritual and the dogma of it, but to really live from direct experience. And I think that's what you're saying has led to you creating all these different things, and kind of really impactful that it started as a healing journey for yourself. Did you ever think that that's 20 years later, like this is where it will lead to?
So initially, I never thought so. So I used to really organize workshops, all the spiritual teachers to call, spend a lot of time with them. and because my goal was to spread it. So how do I help them to spread it? So that is what I used to do. But then after a few years, that inspiration started coming to me that, oh, I should teach, because whenever I'm in a small group of friends, or going through anybody going through any problem, I realize that, I can really shift their thoughts or their perspective of looking at the things. They apply it, and and then after 6 months they'll say, "Oh, my life's changed." And I have even forgotten about it, but they'll say, "Oh, that day I came to you and you told me that, and with that my life changed." That impulse became more stronger that I should start teaching. But for a long time, I did not teach. I had a huge stage fear.
Really? I can't believe that. How did you work through that?
Because I was not teaching, I was feeling really restless, because you had achieved your financial goals. Now money making is no more exciting to you. Now you want to teach, but you're not teaching, and you go to office and you are again caught in that matrix. So I was feeling a little restless, and not that fulfillment was not coming. So I knew that teaching is my path and my passion, and this is what I need to do. Then one day I read a quote by Rumi. He said, "If the words come from the heart, they'll enter the heart." And that gave me
That
insight.
just entered my heart.
So I said, okay, people will laugh at me, it doesn't fine. But as long I'm authentic, and as long I teach only what I have applied, and being
Yes.
true to myself and being true to my path, then it's okay. I just have to do it. But I could not have imagined that in 7 years I'll be where I am today. This has been a magical journey. And also, I would say that my biggest transformation happened because of the teaching. The level of awareness which has come because of teaching is phenomenal, because when you teach, you feel responsible, right? You cannot teach and not
Yes.
practice it. Teaching is the best form of learning. So
Yeah.
sometimes I feel I am my own student, because no matter I'm teaching, but it is also something I need to keep applying in my life. So it's been a great journey, not just as a teacher, but also as a learner, as being a teacher.
Yeah, well, good teachers, I would add, are the ones that really apply the lessons to and constantly check if they need to course correct. And that sounds beautiful. That's powerful too. I think when you can teach something, then you have really understood it. Like Dr. Joe sometimes says at his retreats, like learn, take notes, and really apply it in your life. Because when you really get it, you will be able to teach it. And when you're able to teach it, you know you really, really got it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, I mean, you can't just go ahead and teach, right? You have to do a lot of your homework, research. You have to be sure what you're talking. So yeah, so that refines your thought process actually.
Beautiful. We are almost on time. I don't have the desire to let you go, but I do have to let you go because you are a busy man. And I just want to acknowledge you for just so warmly accepting to come on my podcast to share so much of your journey, which honestly has been really grounding. And some of the things you said were really things that I needed to hear. So I see the divine hand in me reaching out and saying, I need to speak to the soul on the path that he has walked. And honestly, Shant, your colorful path is all about people creating a life that is rooted in meditation, spiritual practices, anything that aligns them with the divine within. And I feel like now that I have witnessed your journey, I feel like it really is a beautiful example of a colorful path. And I congratulate you on everything that you've created, and lots of good, juicy gratitude for just sharing it all so openly with all of us and our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it's also, I enjoyed this conversation a lot. Also, the energy, you see, it was such a flow of energy, right? We didn't plan anything, what you're going to ask, or what I need to address. But it was such a beautiful flow because of your energy. And that's why you
Thank
glow,
you.
because you're always in a flow.
I should put that on a bottle and start making a glow fluid. Well,
Thank you. Thank
this
you so much
is
for inviting me. And thanks to all your audience also for watching this. Thank you.
We will link all your links in the show notes for anyone who's listening today, who's super excited about checking out the multiple things that Shreans is doing in this world with his wonderful team. Please check out the show notes and you will find all our links. And as usual, if you loved this episode, please send it to one friend who is looking for their purpose, their sacred calling in life, because you never know what someone shares can really change and let them pivot into a colorful path. So keep listening. Please subscribe to the channel and let me know on Divine Amuletto on Instagram. What is it that you loved about this episode? Any messages you want to send? Any questions you have? It means a lot to me to know that things are resonating with you and that all your questions are getting answered. Until next time, I am your host, Charu. If this episode resonated, share it and be the reason someone chooses growth today. You can watch the video episodes on YouTube or audio episodes anywhere you get your podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave me a colorful comment. If you have follow-up questions or topics you would like me to explore, please visit me on divineamuletto.com. Link is in the show notes. As always, thank you for being here with me. Until next time, keep choosing your colorful path.